Now here is the model without the costume on him. And he actually has a lot of glitter on him. And he actually has a glue kind of thing stuck to his mane with green, whoops, trying to show you that, with green glitter on it. He has glitter on his tail, I showed earlier. Now I'm still having trouble getting some of that off. I'm sure if I run him, I might run him under some water and see if I can get all the glitter off him. He's got glitter on his mane, his tail, his body. And I like glitter and everything, but I do think it's kind of annoying just because it is a little bit difficult to get off. Anyway, let's go over the model and ignore the sparkly glitters on him. I think he's really pretty. Here he is compared to the Listino. And you can see they do still kind of look similar. I think it's mostly just the fact that the colored manes, that they're both grays. But the Christmas horse is, or Bayberry and Roses, he does have black instead of brown on the Listino. Like he's more black and bluish coloring. So let's look at him over. Let's see. Like I said, I chose this one because I really liked this really dark shading on his rump and his hip and his legs. I think it's really pretty, personally. There's this other side. And he's got some shading on his belly on this side too. I think, yeah, he's some shading on both sides. This side, not as much on his belly. The other side, more on his belly. And there's the Happy Holidays 2014 Breyer. I'm actually not sure if his coloring is considered realistic or not. I would not exactly probably show him without some sort of documentation to show that his coloring is real, or just figuring out if there is coloring like this on a horse. Because he almost looks more like a roan, but he's gray and his mane and tail are different colors, so I'm not sure. Anyway, let's go over some more details about him then. I'm sorry if my camera's being weird. One thing is his eyes are a little different from what Breyer normally does. So you can see they have pink in them. Breyer sometimes does pink eyes, but not quite as much as that. He actually does look like he has pink eye disease or something. This side's not as bad. This side's like really pink, as you can kind of see there. It's not bad though. I mean, is it maybe a little less unrealistic? Maybe. But I don't think it takes away from him too much. One of my favorite parts is his stripe right here. And I do not explain it, but sometimes when Breyer masks their models, instead of looking white, like this guy for example, you see how it's straight white? And like the edges are very clean. Instead of that, this guy has what my Tinseltown model actually has, where the edges kind of show underneath it. There's a little bit of the dark shading from like the muzzle, when they painted the muzzle. And there's like some dark shading along there, if you can see that, like around the edges. Now, I think some people really don't like that. I personally think it's really cool. I like models that have that weird kind of shading thing going on. Some people might not like that. I personally really like those kind of markings. I think they look really interesting. Let's go over his face more. So yeah, he's got dark shading on his nose and his mouth. His ears have some shading in them, which is nice. They actually did not too bad of a job on the mane and tail, by the way, on masking it. Just because I saw that now. A little bit oversprayed there. But it's not too bad considering some of their other models have been a lot worse. And back here, they actually did a really good job masking it along there. Because usually they tend to overspray and get on the leg. So anyway, here's more about his face. You can see the shading. Looks pretty good actually. He has some seams right there on his face, which you can't really see too well because of his mane. But I like the shading on some of his legs, how it's a dark kind of bluish black. And it goes into a brown. There's actually some spots of overspray from the paintbrush right there. He has pink chestnuts. His hooves aren't bad. They're kind of an odd color, maybe, I would say. I don't know. But they stick out from the brown. You can kind of see that. They're actually kind of shaded neat. I kind of like how they're shaded a little bit. They're a little different from Breyer's normal shading of hooves, except for the pink one. Looks kind of like a normal Breyer hoof. And there's the sock. I really apologize. I don't know why my camera's on the fritz today. You can see the sock there. It's a little oversprayed, but not terribly bad. And I actually really like his tail. Not his mane as much, but his tail is really pretty in my opinion. I like how they did the darker stripe with the lighter one. See it more on that side. The dark stripe. Dark stripes here. I think that looks really pretty. He has a shiny mark, which actually I think it's actually just glue. Maybe I can even get that off. Oop, you can see it right there, kind of. You can see it shining there. I'm pretty sure that's glue. It doesn't actually feel like a shiny mark. It's pretty sure it's glue from the costume. And he also has a scratch. It looks, I don't think it's a shiny mark. I'm pretty sure it's a scratch right there along his back. You can see that. So yeah, he's definitely, I wouldn't consider him show quality at all. But again, this is a model that's already not considered show quality generally because of his shoulder coming out like that. Although if you still want to show these kind of models, go for it, because I've had judges place these models before. So anyway, so there he is. Overall, I do really like his coloring. I'm glad I got him. I really do think he's a pretty model. I do really like the horse, especially. I'm not super fond of his costume. Would I recommend people getting him? It depends. It depends on who you are as a collector, and if you really just want the model, or if you want the model and the costume. If you plan to display the model with the costume, it kind of just depends on your own opinion, of course, always with any Breyer model, but I would say it depends. You just have to kind of get him and realize he is not the best Christmas horse in my opinion. But I do love the shading. If you can find one with dark shading, I think he's just really pretty with that shading. And the tail. I love that bluish, purplish shading, and I love how the tail is striped, those colors, and I love his face marking. Those are my favorite things about this model. And so yeah, comment below if you agree or disagree about the costume, or about the horse in general, or anything about that. Let me know what you think about it, and if you have any suggestions for other Breyer model horse reviews, let me know. And yeah, there'll be more model horse review videos to come soon.